So we're going to look at the sine and the cosine graph involving the change in amplitude. We can change our amplitude. And then we're going to check how best can we get the amplitude. Now, the amplitude is whatever is before the trig function, a positive value are called. And then there's a way in which we can get it, a simplest way to get it so that we don't have to cram it. So number one, they say we are given y is equaling to the sine of theta, and then y is equaling to the cos of theta. They say sketch the graph on the same set of axes from 0 up until you get to what, to 360. So what is it here? You are given the domain. Go and start at 0 and then go and end at what, at 360. Is that clear? Where are you going to start? You're going to start at 0. Where are you going to end? At 360. Now, we already had a table above here. I don't have to repeat it, but we can always try it. We already created a table here that speaks about sine of theta, and then it also speaks about cos of theta. So how am I going to do this basically? As we just saw now, our calculator doesn't have enough memory. So we're going to do it from 0 up until we get to 180. And then from 180 up until we get to 360. So we'll go and say, let's start with sine. If we go with sine, we're going to go to mode and then press 7. To press 7, we're going to press sine, and then we say alpha, and then we say x, and then we close our bracket. Equals to, they will ask us where do we want to start. We'll tell them we want to start at 0. Where do we want to end? We want to end at 360, but for now, we saw our calculator doesn't have enough memory. So what are we going to do? Now we're going to go to what, from 0, we're going to go to what, end at 108, equals to. And then step, we said we're going to make our step to be what, to be 15. Now, it helps if you also put this on a table. When I write the table so that you don't make a mistake. Now, what are you going to do with this information? We are going to take it and then we are going to put it here. Just like you were able to put it on a table, you should be able to take the values on the table and put them on the graph. Let's start with the first one. We have 0, which goes with what? 0 goes with 0. No? Yes. Okay, what else do we have? We have 15. Oh, let's do this. We're going to skip the 15, and then we're going to go to 30 because 30 is the one which is visible. So what do we get for 30? We get 0.5, which is going to be somewhere here. I'm going to skip 45, and then I'm going to go directly to 60. Because it's visible on my graph, so it's important. So what is going to be 60? 0.9. So 60 goes with 0.9. I'm going to come and put it here. 90, it's 1. And then from there onwards, I have 120. 120 is 0.9. I'm here. And then 150 is 0.5. Are you sure? So we're here. So let me fix this one. Otherwise, my 0.9, then it's no longer 0.9. So it's supposed to be here. And then 180, it's 0. We are done with this one, Angish. So what am I going to do with this one here? I am going to connect the dots as they follow each other. So I'm going to go to the first dot, second dot, third dot, fourth dot. So that's the first part. Are we happy there? So we connected the first part from 0 up until 180. So what are we going to do next? We are going to go from 180. We start at 180. Equals to where we're going to end. We're going to end at 360. And then step, we're still going to leave it as 15. Although we say now we could have used 30 as our step, because we didn't use the 15, we just used 30. So let's go to 210. What do you get for 210? Negative 0.5. So 210, we get negative 0.5. 240. 240. Negative 0.9 is here. 270, it's 0. It's minus 1. And then 300, it's negative 0.9. 330, Negative 0.5. 360, it's 0. So I have these dots, man. I am going to connect the next part, man. I could have plotted all the dots first and then connect all of them as they follow each other, one after the other. So I have this one, it goes to this one, it goes to this one, it goes to this one. Né? So this is how my graph is going to look like. And then look at this here. I'm not going to put arrows here because they said I should start at 0 and end at 360. So unlike the one that we're doing before, now we're deciding where we wanted to start, where do we want to end. With this one, they told you, go and end at 0. You even shade it here because they told you, go and start at 0 and end at 360. We're officially done with this one. Let's go to the cost graph. On the cost graph, we're going to use a step of 30. As we see it here, the numbers that are visible, that's the one that we're going to be using. So we're going to say, okay, table. And then we put cos, cos alpha x, close bracket, equals to. Now, g of x, we don't write anything. Where do we want to start? We're going to start at 0. Ne? Where do we want to end? We're going to end at 360 here. And then step is the one that I'm going to change, man. Instead of 15, I'm going to make the step to be what to be 30. And then now you see, it doesn't say insufficient memory. So let's go into this one. It says 0 goes with what? It goes with 1. 30 goes with 0.9. Here. 60. 90. 120. Negative 0.5. And 150. Negative 0.9. 180. 210. 240. 270. 300. 330. 360. 1. So you can see these dots as they follow each other. Ne? We're going to go from dot number 1, dot number 2, dot number 3, dot number 4, dot number 5, dot number 6, dot number 7, dot number 8, dot number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then here you shape. Guys, you don't put an arrow there. You end here. This is how our graphs are going to look like. So I am going to tell them, what is this one? The blue one, it's y is equaling to cos theta, ne? Or cos x. Oh, they said theta in this case. Ne? And then this one, we're going to tell them with the black one, it's y. Let's put it here. This one is y is equaling to the sine of theta. So we're happy with our graphs, English. How to draw your graph? You don't try to be a hero, you use a table, English. The only thing that can differ is the step. Use the step that you see on your graph paper, the step. If they started with 30 here, you make your step to be what? To be 30. If they started with 45, use 45. You will see as time goes on, especially once we get to grade 11. That is a good strategy that we're going to be using. Now, next, they say, tell us what is going to be the maximum and the minimum value of each graph. So we're going to start with the sine graph. What is the minimum value that you see? What is the smallest value that you see on the graph? Smallest value that I'm talking about the y value. Write down the smallest value that you see and the biggest value that you see. Let's start with the black one. What is the smallest value of y that you see? I think here we have 270, which goes with -1. And then here I have 90. Here I have 90, which goes with 1. So what is the smallest value that you can see of y? The smallest value of y that you see, what is the smallest value of y that you see? It's -1. So you will tell them with the minimum value. If they ask us what is the minimum, we're going to come and tell them with the mini is equal to -1. What is the biggest value that you see, the max? It's 1. We're done with this one. Let's go to the blue one. Blue one here, you have 180, which goes with -1. And then here you have another one here, which is 1. It's 0:1. So we can come and say we have 0:1. And then we also have 360:1 there. So what is the minimum value that you see there? It's -1 according. Minimum, what is this thing? So the minimum value that we see, meaning, you're saying the minimum is equal to -1, and then the max is going to be equal to what? To 1. Okay, let me do this. Okay, sharp. Okay, what else do we want? We also want to know what is the range. Now, the range is going to be the minimum up until you go to the what? To the maximum. So that's going to be a range. As long as you have the minimum and the maximum value, then you'll be able to get the range. Let's start with the range of the black color. The range of the black color, we're going to tell them which we have y, which is going to be an element from square brackets, which is going to be from -1 up until we get to what? To 1. And then if they ask us what is going to be the range of the blue color, we're going to tell them, which again, y is an element from, what is the minimum value that you have? You have -1. And then what is the biggest value that you have? We have 1. So I've done that one. It's the range. What else do we want to know? We want to know what is the amplitude. How do learners get an amplitude? We have a formula that we use to get the amplitude. Simplest way to do the amplitude is to say whatever value before the trig ratio, the positive value are called. What do I mean by that? You have y, which is going to be equal to 2 sine x. So you check the value before, but the amplitude is always going to be positive. So whatever value that is before the trig ratio, then that is going to be our amplitude. But the simplest way, we do have a calculation for the amplitude. We say it's going to be the max minus the mean divided by 2. So we say which is the maximum minus the minimum divided by what? By 2. Then we get our amplitude. So what is our maximum in this case? Let's talk about it. What is our maximum? It's 1 minus open bracket. What is the minimum? -1. Divided by 2. Then it gives us what? It gives us 1. So this is going to be our amplitude. We still fine. Let's get the amplitude of the blue one. The blue one, it says which A is going to be equal to max minus mean divided by what? By 2. So it's similar to what Mr. was doing with you when we were busy with the lengths. Agree the length, you said the bigger one minus the smaller one. Yeah, we do exactly the same thing. We say the bigger one subtract the smaller one divided by 2. So we calculate the distance between the maximum and the minimum divided by 2. So in this case, we're going to have 1 minus open bracket minus 1 divided by 2. And it says with our amplitude here, it's also going to be what? 1. Last but not least, they ask us about the period. Adele, can you tell them what is going to be the period here? We spoke about it now. We just said we can get the period of these two. The period of sine theta is 360. The period of cos theta is also going to be equal to what? 360. And then you're officially done. Let's try this activity then.